Hi, and we have another episode of Switch It Up. We are just getting started, and today I'm joined by Lesley Tesh, all the way from Austin in Texas, which is really exciting. Lesley, we met on Instagram, didn't we? I sort of followed your account, Your Badass Story, which I think is amazing. It's really inspirational, and you say it's all about mindset and gratitude, and most importantly, kind of mental health at the heart of what you do. And you share some amazing quotes, which is why it really appealed to me. But I love the energy and the sort of drive behind your account. I think when I sort of posted that we were after the storm, wanted to do something about menopause, you reached out and said that you would love to share your story with us. So take it away, really. Thanks for joining us.
Well, really, I love your account, right back at you. And when you posted about menopause, I was like, I'm in, because I'm going through it. I'm in the middle of my story, as most of us listening probably are, or it's just starting, or you're coming on the other side of it. Who knows? But for me, as we were just talking about before this, it's just about people sharing their stories. Because I think one thing that I found when I first started having symptoms and saying it out loud to people, because I was like, what is happening to me? Some people were surprised how forthcoming I was about it. And I'm like, why not? This is something that's happening to all of us, right?
Yeah.
So that kind of blew me away a little bit. And so any chance that we can talk about it, because I think a lot of women are out there suffering and they don't need to, or they just don't have someone to talk to or share their story, or it's just something that's not talked about in their family. Who knows what it is?
Yeah.
But I just think we need to talk about it more. So when you start feeling things, you can go see a doctor or a therapist or whatever it may be for you, or just do the research and hear other people's stories and how they've gotten through it.
Yeah, because I find it fascinating, because I thought it was probably a UK thing. You know, we're all the British stiff upper lip, keep stum, don't tell anybody. So it's really interesting to hear actually in America, where I had assumed everyone's so much more open and so much more confident to talk about things, that there's still that stigma there as well, to keep it to yourself and not talk about it.
It seems that way, yes. And my day job, my work, I work for a construction company actually, and my project we have 12 people, and there's more women than men, which is very rare in the construction industry. So, you know, as soon as it started happening, I've worked with these people for the better part of 5 years. And so I've kind of been going through it the whole time. And so with the ladies, I have one lady older than me, one lady my age, and then some younger. So I'm always talking about it. So they know, you know,
Brilliant.
I just want you, if it starts happening, you're not crazy. It's just your body's changing, and we need to address that. And most importantly, take care of ourselves.
Yeah. So what was the first thing that kind of made you realize something was changing with your body?
Mostly my moods. That's what happened. I think I discussed with you in a previous conversation. My moods were getting really down in the dumps, and depression is a thing that's in my family. So I was like, okay, is this happening to me? But some things with my body were changing very slowly, but I wasn't sure what it was. And then I started looking up perimenopause and realized I had most of the symptoms. So that's what it was. So I talked to my general practitioner. That's what we call it here. You're just overall doctor. And I think my first instinct was to try to regulate my periods and maybe get on birth control, which I wasn't at the time. And doctors were just like, okay. And didn't really talk to me about it so much. And I just thought that was normal. And luckily I said it out loud, what I was going through, which I said, I just want to kill people, which is not really, but it's funny because when I see other people relate this on TV shows, you know, I saw someone describe it as, you know, you're in a great mood, but I also want to wring your neck right now. You know, like I feel there's nothing wrong with me. There's no reason to be upset, but I just want to punch you. it's the weirdest feeling, but it got really bad. So anyways, I said it to the right person, and she had been dealing with menopause for 7 years at that point. She said she had a period once a year, basically, and I was taken aback, but I was so glad. And she said she sent me to a hormone doctor that she sees, who reads numbers just a little bit differently. And I ultimately started taking some hormones, the cream kind that and they've regulated things a bit for me and helped quite a bit. But I still have a lot to learn. I know there's some great supplements out there I want to try, and I think getting physical is really important. But as we said, above all, I just want other women to know that you are not alone. And if it does affect everyone differently, but just get all the information you can and take care of yourself. And also, another thing that happens to me, I think the most, or is more notable besides the mood swings, is brain fog. Brain fog happens for me once in a while daily, let's be honest, but but it happens once in a while. It's very overwhelming, and I have to take a day and just not do anything or try to be, and just you just have to, when you're going through this, really see the signs and learn and take care of yourself and love yourself and just take a day if you need to. And then if it goes longer than that, maybe see a doctor of some kind. But
what's it like what is it like in America? Because I know that we're like doing quite a bit of focus with in the corporate space, so in workplaces, to get that understanding and that kind of policy in place where if you need a day, it should be written into being allowed. Is that something that exists in America, or is it just something that you have an agreement with your employer, or do you just take holiday? How does that work? Because your holiday entitlement's low, isn't it, in America compared to ours? You have a standard 20-day holiday, is it?
I think a lot of people get 10 or 15. It's really bad.
Okay.
It's horrible. Yeah. It's horrible here. And most, I would say most people just have to take a sick day or something like that, or a personal day. Yeah. I actually have been very lucky. This group that I work with, my immediate boss, who's why I won't leave this job until he retires, which he's retiring next summer. So I'm going to be on to bigger and better things. But he is just been an incredible leader that is in general, but the past couple of years when the world turned upside down, he's been an incredible leader. But one thing that happened way before is when I started going through this, I went into his office. I was able to go into his office a couple of times and just say, I'm overwhelmed with hormones right now. And as soon as I realized that it was pre-menopause or whatever it is, it's all menopause to me. There's so many different stages, but it's all menopause to me. But he got put on some kind of hormones for a pre-op. I think it was, I don't remember exactly what it was, but he got put on some kind of hormone. And he wanted to kill everybody for about 3 months. He said he understands exactly what it's like. And he said if they were to propose it again to him, he would rather just die.
Every man should have to go through that, just so
right? At least for like a week. So maybe 2 weeks. But yeah, he understands it in a way that I was, astounded by. So it's very luckily I've gotten things sort of regulated, but I don't think that's a conversation that most people can have here in America with their supervisors.
No, and I know it's not a conversation we can have over here in the UK either. I mean, I was really lucky to do a menopause cafe with the company that I'm working at the moment, and was absolutely blown away by how the ladies shared their stories and were so grateful to have that space to talk with people about it that understood and say, oh, if you tried this, can you should do this, or have you read this, have you gone to that website, this website? And that power, like you've said, of being able to talk to people and get the message out is so important, especially if people don't find themselves in the kind of situation you were in, which was just as luck would have it, like you say, that he'd been through something like that. Because, you know, my view on it is, you know, even as women, unless you start to go through it or you're very clued up on it, we wouldn't understand either. You know, I wouldn't have necessarily understood what was going on until I've started to do all this research. So I think we have to educate people.
Absolutely. It's so important. And luckily, mental health issues, not that this, but it's a crossover issue because as soon as I started reading about it, when I was experiencing that, you know, the moods, it was depression on some level. It said one of the, you know, 10 things is you're 50% more likely to experience depression.
Yeah.
That's wow. You know, that's
it's the anxiety side of it as well that I find, you know, because I, having suffered personally when I was younger with really bad anxiety, I'm quite scared of the thought that that's going to come back, and will I recognize that it's just part of my perimenopausal symptoms, or I think I'm anxious again, and it's my mental health. So I think, you know, we have to be educated. And some of the other things, so I was speaking to a lady the other day, and she can't eat spicy food anymore because she gets this burning mouth feeling, like somebody's sprinkled chili in her mouth. I was like, I wouldn't even have a clue to think that was something, but it is a symptom.
Yeah, there are some interesting symptoms. I haven't experienced many, you know, those kind.
Yeah.
I think I started to get hot flashes before this, I think in honor of our conversation.
Warm.
I don't get those as much, but you know, every once in a while I'll get a little off and I'll have a few weeks of hot flashes, but I'm sure I have more of that to come, more intense hot flashes to come and things like that.
Yeah. How long have you been going through it now?
That's a good question. I'm going to say 3 or 4 years.
Okay.
Because I'm trying to, 3 or 4 years. I think the first of those, let's say 4 years, I didn't really know what was happening. And then it gradually just got it more intense. And, you know, I started seeking help and doing the research and
yeah. And I know we discussed previously, it's like that horrible kind of stigma around it, and you've been past it just because you're going through the menopause, and like how we think it's so important that women actually should still embrace, you know, being attractive and being cool and all that kind of stuff, because it's a misconception.
Well, I think another thing that can happen is, or I hope happens for women, and because I think in the past, people, you know, it's like our bodies are shut down, we're old ladies now or whatever. But for me, and I think we needed to make it the new narrative, is we're just becoming more aware of our bodies, and therefore we become sexier.
Yeah.
Hello. You know, I think we should turn it upside down, because I mean that's been working for me, Verity. That's what
I completely agree with you. There's a lady called Breda Birmingham who's in Ireland, so over here, and she's you might have seen her on Instagram as well. She got Midlife Women Rocks project, and her whole kind of thing is about how you thrive and embrace being, you know, a midlife lady and the opportunities that can give you. And as part of that, exactly as we've discussed, just, you know, we're sexy, man. It's good.
Yeah, it's kind of an amazing time. You have to embrace it and not, that's the thing. We just need to change it for everyone, because I think a lot of people are like, that's just the end somehow, but it's the beginning.
Yeah.
It's a whole new phase of fun.
No, I love that. And I love that message that you're giving out, because I think we have to stop being scared of it and just, like say, embrace it and the opportunities that it gives us. Because, like, I mean, back a third of our life is going to be in that phase really of post-menopause now, because we're living so much longer. So Christ, life can't be over at that point, can it?
No.
Not at all.
No. It's a new awesome phase.
Absolutely new awesome phase. Your badass story. Was
exactly
that an inspiration?
The new badass phase.
Yeah, absolutely. Was that any of your inspiration for starting your Instagram, or had you started it before that?
I think unknowingly, yeah, absolutely, because it was just a lot of change was happening in my life, and physically and mentally and emotionally, and I think they're definitely all
Linked.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, and I just turned 52 a few months ago in April, so it's just a really interesting time for me, and I just feel great. I mean, I do have my moments with the menopause, but I also feel more free than ever, more empowered than ever. It's something that comes with age, I guess. And as your body changes, you, like I said, you embrace the change and get to know yourself better. And it's amazing. And I definitely want to share this with ladies, in our age range that are going through this, to embrace it and not be afraid and know that you're not alone, but also kind of like sprinkle the message for the younger generations that this is something to look forward to in a way, just a new, more empowered phase of life.
Oh God, well, we're going to leave it right there, because I just think that's such a wonderful message to stop on. And I've absolutely loved talking to you again, Lesley, because you inspire me, and that is just perfect. So thank you for talking to us.